Hi guys, just waiting a minute. I'm just talking to Noprat in Thailand. Say hello.
Who's that?
I'm talking to my fans now on live
Oh,
on subscribers.
oh.
Many people last week. I think I had 600 people looking at me. Yeah, and the week before it was a lot more. So, but I've changed.
You can come.
I used to do it on a Friday, but I do it on a Monday now. I'm just changing to a Monday. So I'm just waiting now for a few people to come. As I said, this is still new, so I'm not sure how it's going to go. So I'm going to give it, a few weeks, and if it's successful, then I'll keep doing it. Do you understand, not Brad? Yeah, you do. All right. Say hello. I know it's time for your bed now. I know
Yeah,
that.
I not see. Oh, yeah, I see.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, you lie on Facebook.
Yeah, live, yeah. No, it's on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Okay. So what's the weather like in Thailand? Raining?
Yeah, let me.
Raining, okay. All right. Well, it's been dry over here, but they forecast a little bit of rain. So, um, Alexa, what's this week's weather going to be like?
Here's the weather in Cardiff for the next 7 days. Here's the weather in Cardiff for the next 7 days.
Alex, stop.
Here's the weather in Cardiff for the next 7 days. Tuesday, 18 degrees Celsius and rainy weather.
Just like a woman.
Wednesday,
Don't listen to
19
you.
degrees and intermittent clouds. Thursday, 19 degrees and intermittent clouds. Friday, 19 degrees and clouds and showers. Saturday, 18 degrees and mostly sunny weather. Sunday, 18 degrees and intermittent clouds. Monday, 19 degrees and showers.
So a bit of a mixture. Alexa, what's the weather going to be like in Bewdley on Wednesday?
On Wednesday, the 15th of September in Bewdley, England, you'll see intermittent clouds, with a high of 19 degrees Celsius and a low of 10 degrees.
Okay, Alexa, what's the weather going to be like on Thursday at Hereford?
Here's the forecast for Thursday, the 16th of September in Hereford, England. Expect intermittent clouds, with a high of 19 degrees Celsius and a low of 12 degrees.
Oh, there you are then. So a little bit of a mixed, looks like a couple of dry days anyway, Wednesday and Thursday. Yes, right, Andrew. Nice to see you on you. Let's have a look. Hi, Clive. Shame you didn't get the interview with Mr. Arthur on the weekend. Yes, in fact, that was going to be one of my highlights speaking to Keith. As I said, I did have a few words with him. And unfortunately, that was his first match, he was telling me, the Riverfest, in over a year. So unfortunately, he drew bands, which is another section, which it wasn't as good as the section that I drew, obviously yesterday, because I was on, by the bridge area, is it Kew Bridge? Anyway, but he was telling me that he hasn't been able to do a lot of fishing because, unfortunately, his wife has got Alzheimer's and he's the main carer. So anyway, but what he did say, he's going to do a little bit more podcasting, and also I think he's going to do a little bit of live with somebody. He did mention, I've forgotten who it was, but anyway, something to look forward to in the future with Keith Arthur. And he's keeping well. He's lost a bit of weight. And he's still as keen as ever, of course, and you all know he writes in the Anglian Times, a weekly column. So Keith's doing okay. Now the problem is I had yesterday. If you've already seen my vlog, you'll see that in the first half of the vlog I lost the sound, and that was the fact. I got a feeling I've got to test my camera because last Wednesday it fell in the water, and I maybe never dried it out properly. But anyway, that's something I got to check and hopefully, fingers crossed. It should be okay for the forthcoming matches. Hi, Sue Jones. Hi, could you please let me the best way to cook tears and have you had? Yes, I got some tears. Right, the best way to cook it. What I find with tears is if you obviously get enough for the fishing, which is usually just a handful, put it in a saucepan of water. Put just a little pinch of bicarb, not a lot, because what you'll find as it cooks, it'll froth over the top if you put too much bicarb in. So just a very small smidget, and that will help to blacken the tears up. If you want to cook them without, that's fine. Some people do, and sometimes I do, because then you just got the grey color instead of the black color. Now the secret is the way I do it. I bring them to the boil. Okay, simmer them for about a minute. Then I turn it off completely, and I let them soak overnight. And usually the next day they're perfect. They've swollen slightly. They're soft enough to put on the hook without coming off when casting. And obviously, in fact, you could, if you don't use them, then you can freeze them up and use them again and again. In fact, I might have some in my freezer now. I could go and check, but I don't want to leave the camera. But yes, tears, that's the best way to do it. I've tried all different ways before, you can't overcook them. If you overcook them, they come too soft and you can't get them on the hook properly. But that if you do the way I just suggested, then that'll be your best bet. And hopefully you'll be able to put them on the hook, easily enough and keep them. Okay, thanks for that question, Sue. Dennis Price, well done on the latest results. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Well, the Tide Fest is a funny river because the only time I've ever fished tidal, when in fact many years ago the River Taff used to be tidal and it used to run off, and but not the high tides that the Thames offer. But it used to run off, and sometimes we would catch as the river come up and then run off. When was the best time to fish? I don't really know. But the other place was the Lower Wye at Bigswear. The only problem is, of course, mud. You had to contend with the mud. But when you did, there was some great fishing. And I'll never forget a time, I got to tell you, because I was only young at the time. And I was fishing the Bread. I was with a friend of mine, and we took the day off from work. We both went there. And anyway, I caught this one chub. It was a nice one. And then I caught a huge chub. It was massive, like that. And this is on the tidal bit, as the water was backing up. And anyway, I caught this chub, and we put it in the net, and I was quite eager to weigh it. And at the time, we had a spring balance. Well, anyway, we thought, well, let's try let's weigh them. I couldn't wait any longer after an hour. I said, let's weigh. To Tony Scott, his name was. Don't know whatever happened. Don't know if he's still fishing. But anyway, we got the one chub out, which weighed 2 pounds. I thought, oh, well, blimey. I said, the next one got to be at least 5 times as big. It was massive. It was so big, I couldn't even get my hands around it like that, around the skirt. Anyway, we got up on the bank. It was a bit of a wet, drizzly day. The fish sort of wriggled, went out of my hand and slipped back in the bloody water. I never know what size that was. But if I had a guess to it, I reckon it was a good 6-7 pound. And at the time, it could have been a record, because I think the chub record is about 10 pound now. But yeah, but I'm digressing now. Yes, as I said, from tidal, fishing the tidal Thames yesterday, it was it was different, and you had to keep pace. Now, I was talking to a couple of local guys, and they was telling me that there used to be loads of dace there, and used to catch them on the stick float. Well, I set the stick float up, and I didn't catch any. I think, in fact, Keith had a fish the stick. I don't think he had any either. And they used to catch 30, 40 pound bags of dace, apparently, in them days. Of course, all venues change, and I think the Thames has probably changed. Probably more bream there now, possibly than before. And we did have quite a few new anglers turn up that only came because they saw the vlog of the Riverfest, which was quite interesting. Which is good because I like to think that people can view any of the venues I fish, and gives them a little bit of an insight on what to do tactic wise, and if they like the fishing, they can come along. So yes, as I said, I had fifth I was overall. The way they paid, I won a section, which is okay, 50 quid. I mean, I paid for the day. Bit of a long journey, mine, about 2.5 hours, I think it took me. And of course, with the M4 blocked off, I had to do a detour as well, so that didn't help. But yeah, great fishing, a good bunch of lads down there. I always get on well with the London boys, and that the good bunch, and good day as well. And unfortunately, there's only 40 tickets, and I was lucky enough, as I said, to get a ticket because one of the subscribers found out that I didn't get a ticket. Because Mike Martin, who had won the event 3 times in the last sort of 8 years, this year the trophy was engraved, the Mike Martin Davis Trophy, and I'm glad that one of the guys who won it and his brother was second, both on different sections, and they told me after they were sharing the money between them, so I thought that was really good. Of course, they won the trophy. It was a nice trophy. And if you haven't seen the vlog yet, have a look because you'll see, at the beginning, the silver plaque, that it was presented on. And anyway, Mike unfortunately lost his life through the COVID this year, and it was sad really because I was only told to him a week before, and and of course the trouble is, the Mike used to organise a lot of my matches, and I'm lost without him because. He's a great organizer, and he'd always phone me up, say, "Oh, don't forget now, book in for this, book in for that, tickets available here." And of course, this day and age, and one of them was this Tide Fest. So thankfully, one of the subscribers seen it and said, "Well, they will give me his ticket," and that was great. So I've forgotten his name now, but thanks for that. That was brilliant, and it was nice to fish it, to fish it again. It would have been nice if I could have won it, but it was the NPEG who won it. It was a good match. Good match, anyway. Okay, Andrew. Oh, okay, Andrew. That payout was weird, and the tide dropped. Oh, it did drop. I know. Yeah, apparently it was a high tide as well this year, and it did drop rather quick. And the funny thing was, I got to tell you, you didn't see it on camera, but I actually took all my tackle off the stand, took it back to the car. One of the anglers next to me, "Clive, you ought to get down here. So the tide's coming back up, and the water starting to come up to the level of the keep net, so the fish could have swam out." So thankfully, I got up there and managed to pull it up a little bit. And as you've seen the vlog, I've had 4 bream and a few days. And I tell you what, that pull on that river, oh God, blimey! I went up to 45 gram in the end, and it was still, still one holding bottom, even with a big bow in the line. So if you did notice, I worked hard at the beginning to get bait in there, but the trouble is, no sooner the tide drops, you got to move. And I think the secret is, I might have missed a little trick here because you got to clip it up, and you got to sort of make sure it lands in the same spot, so you're baiting up the same area. And as you descend down the river, you got to, if you like, unclip it, reel that yard or 2 up, and still keep it. So when you cast, the feeder goes into the same hole again. Now, the only problem is, sorry, not for us laughing at me. Say hello. She probably don't understand a word I'm talking about when it comes to fishing, but she's a lovely girl. Anyway, so the secret then, and what happened, I noticed that as I was moving, I missed unclipping it, and I was miscast to go a bit further out, and but because if you notice on that one, I've had one, and as soon as I cast again, I had another one quick. I did have half a dozen dace as well. The dace were there, so I think that's the secret on that river. I think you need to clip up and make sure you keep going to the same spot, even if you go down the river. Eventually, you're going to be fishing too close in, so you have to find another line, But it's an interesting river, I tell you. If you haven't done it, it's well worth having a go. And I know a few of the lads, as I said, first time for them, and they some of them done okay, Okay. Thanks, Andrew, for that question. Neil Smith. Hi, mate. I've noticed a lot, very small dace, on the Walsh Raven and Sevenish here. Don't seem to be catching very big ones. You know that you're right there for some reason. There's a lot of these mini dace, and I don't know if it's because we've had a low, a rainless season, because we used to get it on the Wye the same. We used to get loads of little chub, and in fact, the Avon. And we often wonder why they don't grow any bigger. And it's usually like when the floods come, they sort of disappear. I don't know whether the flood, sort of kills them off and they run off, or maybe goosanders are eating them, maybe I don't know, cormorants, who knows? But they should sort of don't seem to grow that much bigger anymore, do they? You can't seem to get the big cock dace we used to get. As I say, on the Wye, we used to catch them like 8 ounces, quite commonplace. And I've noticed over the year or two they're getting smaller as well. There's more of them, though. There's more of them. That's the thing. I mean, Adrian Whittle had over 100 odd pound, didn't he, on that one match? But I know the best place I've ever fished for dace, by the way, is the River Usk. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's a game river. You can't get on there these days for coarse fishing. There is one or two sections you can actually go, but the dace on there average 12 ounces to a pound each, and they're massive, big cock dace like that. And you can soon get some weights of that. But I've never seen any small dace on the Usk. It's strange. Maybe the trout eat them because it's full of trout as well. When we used to go fishing, we used to catch like 20, 30 trout before we catch a coarse fish. We used to have matches there years ago. Newport Anglers used to own a little bit by the town. Crick Cowell, there was a couple of places, but yeah, it's a fantastic river. If you haven't heard of it, it's called the River Usk, and it runs through sort of Monmouth and that, Abergavenny and up that way. But yeah, good question now. There's a lot of small dace everywhere, and Neil's I was listening to Neil then. Yeah. Okay. Andrew again. Tony Scott fishes sometimes at Staverton. It's the same. Oh, it's the same Tony. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, I've noticed. Obviously, a lot of the older legends don't fish as much now these days, do they? See, Dennis has done okay. Dennis White, along with Tommy. But yeah, you don't hear of Tony Scott and people like that now, do you? Not so much. They still fish. I think Drew Brennan was another one. It's a lot of good old anglers. I don't know. Thank God I'm still going. Got my fingers crossed that my health stays with me. That's the main thing. Anyway, right. I'd mentioned last vlog about I've changed the day now to a Monday. Hopefully it'll be better. I can see already, got quite a few on, 40 plus viewers, so that's good. Obviously, people will catch up to this because I was talking to a lad yesterday, and he said he follows the vlog, but he can't do the live streaming because, but he said what makes them popular, I think, vlogs, is the fact that you can come back and just view them at any time as convenient, which is his case. You were saying he watches a lot of my vlogs, and you can pick up on them at any time. So it's the same with this live question and answers. You can actually, if you're not asking a question, but you can actually see what's being asked, and you could, well, even if you do leave a question, I can always answer it at a later date anyway. So there's, as I say, it's a little bit of a new one on a Monday. So let's hope it goes okay. Right, I did mention a couple of things last week about my books. Somebody asked me, where can I get the books, and I said, well, on Amazon. I've got my 2 books here. I've got my autobiography. Okay, it's quite a thick one. It basically takes you from me from a young angler all the way through to till about 3 years ago. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. I may update it. We'll see how it goes. Because to be honest, when I wrote this, I thought, well, who knows what will happen in the future health-wise. At least it's there for prosperity. And my memory's going. At least you can look back. But I've had some great comments. People have read it. It's a bit personal, and I do go on a little bit about the wrongdoings in my life. But there you are. Oh, I got to show you a photograph. There is my wife, not Brad. Biggest catch in my life, and that's in my book, my autobiography. She didn't know that. She's just looking now. Yeah. Now, also, a few people mentioned to me about any other books I've written. Well, I did write one. It's called Living with Legends, and it's basically all of the anglers which I regard as legends in my life. And again, a lot of these legends probably don't fish now. A lot of them still do, and and I talk about people like Kevin Ashes, Bob Nudd, Ray Mumford was one. I knew him. These are all guys I knew personally. There's one or two I've mentioned as legends. I haven't really met them, but I would have liked to. And there's a couple of new up and coming legends as well in the book. And it's only $9.95. It's a short book. It's not massive. It's about 100 odd pages. So but it's worth a read. I think I've had some good reviews on it. Yeah. Okay. So those are my two main books. Now the other book I've done is the Complete Float Manual, I call it. And there's a cover of it. Okay, and I cover all the known floats that are available. Everything from stick floats, wagglers, bollies, chubbers, and everything, and pole floats. I go through the whole spectrum of pole floats and the aerodynamics of them and how they're shaped and so on. They come with illustrations like that. It's a big apple. Now you can buy this directly from me. I charge about 20 quid in 1999. I'll leave a link on this, so if you're interested. As I say, it's a thick book. It's my personal view on all the floats. A lot of these floats you can't buy in the shop, so you have to either hand make them yourself, or I make a few for a few anglers. Okay, so that's definitely worth buying if you can afford it, but I've got a website. Most of it is on the website. It's called it's www.goldmedalfloats.co.uk. And if you go there, you'll see most of the floats are actually on there anyway, on the website. So if you're a bit mean and you want to buy a book, you can go on the website and have a look. Okay. Anyway, that's my little plugs for tonight. All right. Any more questions coming through? Anthony Ross, hi mate. What do you think of the world champs? That's a good question. I was just coming on to that one now. Yes. Now, do you know, I'm surprised. Pleasantly surprised that they actually come third. On the first day, they were lying fourth. Now, usually over the last few years, unfortunately, if you're fourth, you don't normally make the frame. You're normally beaten by the couple of teams below you, like, for example, France, who are just below England. And so I take my hat off to the English boys. It's a new young team. They didn't do any good individually, but they were well up in each of their section. So, I think Matt Garvey was probably doing the best, I think, after day one. But they held on to it, and they managed to go one place better from fourth to bronze. And, a bronze medal is a medal, Okay, I know they say nobody ever remembers the runner-up and the bronze medalist, but it's a nice to have on your CV, the fact that you've got a bronze medal. I mean, I got a bronze medal with the Welsh team when we first fished in the World Champs at Luddington. So, I still hold that with pride. Look, my medals on in my cabinet. So I still got that, and I got my two golds and the silver as well. So, yeah. I think they've done reasonably well. Could they have done better? I mean, when you consider they had short notice and they were only there like for the week, and it's like I said, we've got such an array of talent in the UK. So picking teams is very hard, and to leave two of their stars out, like Scotthorne and Will Rayson, I thought they done exceptionally well. I would like to see Roy fish, but of course, Rory, he's Rory, I mean, he's still young, and the fact is, it's difficult to put a man in on their first, their first time around, you might get maybe a chance next year or maybe the year after. I don't know, but that's how it normally goes. But yeah, it's great to see the youngsters coming up. Okay, that's So yeah, I don't know what you think, Andrew, but I think they've done reasonably well. Anthony, I should say. All right, Raymond, hiya, mate. Were you on the Thames yesterday? Yes, I just talked about that. No, I was on the Thames. I just done the vlog. I just put it up now. It was a bit late because I tell you why. I've had some issues with my sound, unfortunately, and I couldn't. I couldn't put. I had to, if you like, I had to I just put it together differently. I put a bit of music on because I lost the sound at the beginning, and I've had to cut out a little bit of commentary, But of course, halfway through, my other camera was working, and that was fine. So yeah, but it was a good match. Yeah, it was it was usual sellout turnout, and it was a good match. If you haven't seen the vlog yet, go and have a look at it, and you'll see that. What happened? It was a high tide. The water dropped quite quickly, and the surprise. All right, honey. Speak to you tomorrow. Night night. That's okay. Just saying good night. Say good night to everyone. Night night. 6 hours in front, so it must be past 12 now. Okay, night night. So there you are. All right, honey. Speak to you tomorrow. Okay, there you are. But she would have. I would have been in Thailand this winter, but because of the COVID, I can't go. I noticed a few of the anglers that I fish with over in Thailand. They're still fishing. Billy Macon, he's gone back fishing now, which is good. Nice to see him fishing. Not the same gudgeon and Roach, where he's catching all these. What they call they're like big perch. They call tilapias, but they're good fun, Yeah. So as I was saying, so with the Thames yesterday, it was a good match, and watch the vlog. Next year, I would maybe do it again next year. I mean, I fished it last year, and I was in the money, and again, I was in the money again this year. So it suits a sort of angler that can think on his feet a little bit, because there's little things, it's just not a matter of just dropping the feeder in, and hope for the best. Although I did say to the guy next to me, I said, it's like sea fishing, this, I said, but it's a bit more than that, because you've got to make sure you're going in the same spot, and, you put a bow in the line, you try and hold the bottom, and it's quite a toe on it, by the way, a lot more than you would get on normal rivers. But it's a lovely river. It's amazing, actually, when you think of all the water that comes down that river. But it was like Muldoon's Picnic, mind, with all the boats and so on, which reminds me of the match I fished last week. If you saw it on the Bristol Avon with all those boaters, God, I couldn't get a feeder in the water there. I had to fish in between the boats, with a waggler. But I've done all right, I still got a few fish. David, all right, David. Clive, when is the best time of the year to catch roach on the Belmont stretch on the Y? Okay, well, right, during the summer, it's low, clear, there's hardly any movement, there's no flow on it. And it is a deep part of the Y. Now, what happens generally, I think the fish migrate, they go to the shallower bits and so on. And if you try fishing for them in the summer, you're more likely to get bleaked out, by bleak. And the bleak will take anything. They'll take hemp, and tears on the off the hook. But what happens, for some unknown reason, and I've known this for many years, because we used to fish it when we were kids, and for some reason the fish round about, well, as soon as the weather starts getting cold, the fish seem to make a beeline to the Belmont stretch. It's deeper, there's a bit of flow on it, and I think it's attracted. I think, because it got lights along the on both sides, haven't they, on the pathway and that. And I don't know where the light actually tracks the fish there, but certainly the fish accumulate there, and now all of a sudden you could be fishing and not catch them, and all of a sudden they just turn up out of the blue, and they're there solid for a few weeks. and you can get some tremendous weights. I remember being under the bridge once, and all I had was roach. I had 40 odd pound of roach, you know. So you're talking about those sort of weights. But of course, when the roach come in, so then you get a run of perch, and then all of a sudden you catch perch, you know. So what can I say? I can say if you had a clock on it, I would say probably usually about to November, start of November, December-ish, you know, that's when the roach start coming. You might get a few early stragglers, you know. I think they did last year up at the Ash Pad. There was a few being caught to begin with, and then of course when they do come and arrive, of course then you get the big shows have dace as well, you know, and then of course you get the small chublets. You know, those little chublets, pound chublets, you get loads of them. So they come in like phases. You know, that's what makes Belmont stretch on the River Wye so interesting because, you know, when there's fish there, I mean, it's, you know, as the guys who ever fished will tell you, you know, it's paradise, you know. You know, we had matches. I remember, was it the year before? In one section, I was on the not the Ash, I was on the Asda stretch, and I won the section. £49, right, mixed of, you know, roach and dace, and I only just beat the guy below, Spud Murphy. He had 48. Then there's Rory. He had 48 as well. And then above me, you only had £30, and that was the lowest weight in the section, £30. Are you imagining catching £30 and coming last in that section? Well, that's what it was. And above him there was 30, you know, high 30s and 40s again. So yeah, you know. Fantastic, you know, for people who never fished the Wye. You know, I would strongly recommend it. You know, put it on your bucket list and go and fish it one day. You know, now coming up in the next, you know, few weeks, the fish should start arriving. In fact, I'll be able to tell you next Thursday. It's the first match, as far as I know, on the Wye. It's the 3 counties championships, and that's. They were kindly donated to Jim Burton, who runs these prostate cancer matches, and he's doing a great job, Jim, because he basically he had prostate himself, and he was lucky enough to catch it in time, and he's made it his life ambition to help people with prostate cancer, and he runs these matches, and you know, he deserves a knighthood, really, to be honest. You know, the amount of money he must have risen over the few years. And of course, this 3 counties is a brainchild of his. Where last year it was on 3 different venues. It was on Bewdley, Bridgenorth, and on the Welsh Raven further up the river. I can't think of it now because I drew it that way. Because you're allowed to place your men. And Russell and a chap, friend of mine, asked me would I fish for them. I said, yeah, we'll give it a go. Anyway, so as it happened that we actually won it, and it was a good field. You know, it was all the top teams in the country were there. Like, you know, so we were lucky enough we won it. And at Barford, that's right, Barford on Avon. And of course, this year they decided not to use the Avon, but to use Hereford instead, the Wye. So they've given me the Wye, so I'll be fishing the Wye, and I think Russell will be back up at Bridgenorth, and Mark, our other chap, will be on Bewdley. So yeah, so that'll be a vlog to look out for next Thursday. Okay, probably by the time I get back, it'll probably be up for Friday, but that's enough. Now Wednesday, I'm fishing the last of the float only matches, and at Bewdley. As I said, I don't think I'm going to make the top 10 this year, which is a shame. I did last year and the year before, and to make the top 10 against those boys is a great thing. You know, it's worth 200 quid for 10th place. So, but I think this year I bombed out a little bit on it. If you've been following my blogs, you'll see what's happened. But it's still a good match for fish, and you know, it's been a bit iffy, Bewdley, because you know, with the low water. Certain pegs have been producing, and some pegs that never produced before have produced. So, yeah, it's interesting. So that's another vlog to look out for this week. 2 vlogs coming up, and then I'm not sure about next weekend. See, I'm lost without Mike. I'll have to see what's on and let you know on that one. Okay, okay, Raymond, thanks for that. David, yeah, right. Neil, is the Wye mainly club water? No, right. I talked about this last week. The problem is with the Y, it's been not taken over, but somehow the USK and Y Foundation, which is a group, have managed to talk a lot of the landowners into allow them to run their their waters for them. So if you go to the Erskine Foundation website or you buy one of their books, it'll give you a list of all the stretches you can fish on the Y, and there's loads. There's hundreds of them, in fact. The only problem is, this is where being a game fishery or management company, they've somehow managed to persuade the landowners to up their prices, and you're talking something anywhere between 25 quid a day, 50 quid a day, even 75 quid a day for coarse fishing. Now, to me, they've gone over the top. There are other venues, mind you, that don't come under them. If you find out where they are, you can. If you go to the local tax shops, the other one is, of course, Hereford. You can buy day ticket. There's 10 quid. They charge 10 quid a day. I think there's if you've seen Woody at the tackle shop, I'm sure he'd tell you what other places you can go, not Hereford waters, but other stretches where you can get day tickets. There's Ross on Wye, I think you can get day tickets down there, which is quite good fishing as well from the tackle shop. There's also another stretch, I think, down at Simmons Yacht. I know Newport own a lot of the water down there, but I think you might be able to get day tickets from the Simmons Yacht, hotel themselves. Anyway, there's also I'm thinking further downriver, Redbrook, Monmouth Way. There's a couple of places there you can get day tickets. So, but offhand I won't be able to tell you. I did I did put a book together with all the venues. I don't know if it's in my book. It might be. I got 2 sets. Yeah, I wrote this a couple of years ago now. It's getting on a bit. It's Fishing Guide Wales, and it's got all the venues throughout Wales, 600 different venues in there, and there's a lot on the Y. Might be worth it might be worth going through this, and as I say, that could be an interesting subject to do, actually, is to see where you can get day tickets on the Y, because it's some great water. At Wyseal Farm as well, further down, you can get day tickets there. And I know a couple of lads, our lads were going there, and they were having little matches between them, half a dozen, and they're catching loads of chublets down there, So yeah. Maybe you message me. Maybe I'll try and find out, a few more day ticket orders that's available. All right. Anyway, thanks for the question. That's good. All right, David. Thanks for that. Right, Neil Smith. Got quite a bit of rain tomorrow. Oh, the 7 needs it. Do you know? Yeah, I just asked Alexa now. If what's the weather going to be, and she was saying that it was going to be a bit of rain. But I noticed on the weather on the weekend, the weathermen on TV, and they said a bit of rain coming, so we can do with it. Yeah, definitely, and that'll perk the rivers up, certainly for the Y and the Severn. Yeah, and the Avon. I mean, all the rivers need it, really, don't they? Yeah, it's a good question, that, Neil. Andrew Cardigan, aye. Do they run open matches through the winter months at Evesham? Clive, I looked on the website, but it seems only Evesham AC are fishing it. That's the same for the Y. Well, yeah, they do run a few matches in the winter. In fact, there's a few qualifiers that start off quite early. And I know the Evesham club itself, they run matches. I'm not sure whether they're opens, though. But I'm surprised there's nothing on the Evesham website, because usually they have a list of all the venues. A list of all the matches throughout the winter. I know I've fished a couple in the past, but they don't fish so well. In fact, if you think your fish is hard now, it's even harder in the winter sometimes. But sometimes the fish is better. Because I remember one match I went up there a couple of years ago, fished the bread punch. had £14 in a match and on one, and then £9 the following week. So yeah, it can fish, just as well, really, But as far as the match is concerned, I'm not quite sure. You'll have to keep an eye on that one. I mean, phone Diane. She'll tell you. If it's not on the website. The other person to get hold of is Lee Gardner. I don't know if he's on Facebook, but he sort of helps run a lot of the matches there. So that could be another one. You could ask. Let me just have a sip of coffee. Right. So anyway, what's the time looking like? Okay, well, you're surprised how quick the time goes. We've been on here 40 minutes already. Yeah. So when it comes to making some of the vlogs, I am going to invest in another camera because talked to John Arthur, and he has a body one, and I think it's something that I might do because there's a lot of information, close-up information that these cameras can catch, like hooking the maggots and, and other bits and close-up and hooking the bait, and unhooking the fish, and also the casting and maybe closer to the float as well. So yeah, it's definitely something I've got to look at, and because they are becoming quite popular. I mean, it all started off, like I said before, I started, a lot of anglers write little blogs about their fishing, and which is good for their sponsorship and for people like that, and to give information out. Well, when I was doing it, by the time I got home after the match, and I was thinking, oh, I can't remember half the stuff I was doing. So I thought I'll film it and then look back on the film and then make my blog. And then I thought, hang on, why not leave it as it is, warts and all, so people can see what I'm doing. And anyway, thankfully it's grown, and over 3,000 subscribers now, and I, on average, get 3,000 to 4,000 views on each blog I make, and which comes to just to say as well, thank you for all subscribers. If you haven't yet, subscribe, because it all helps. Because now, initially when I'd done them, we weren't making no money, and what we call monetizing. Now, to monetize any videos you put up on YouTube, you have to have at least 1,000 subscribers, and I think it's 40,000 viewing hours. Well, I achieved that, and so I monetized it, and then they put adverts on. Now, sorry about that, but it's a little revenue that I get. I get once a month from YouTube. Now, I can't physically ask you. Well, I can ask you a favor, and that is when an advert does come up, just watch it. You don't have to buy advert, of course. Just watch it all the way through, because I get paid on people watching the whole advert. Okay. Now I'm not allowed to advertise that, but that is something that unfortunately that's the way it is. So if you watch the video, if you watch the vlog and you watch the advert all the way through, you're doing me a favor, because I get like half a p, I think it is, for each advert, but it all mounts up, and as I say, I get a little payout then once a month, so it's fantastic. So yeah, but when I first started doing this, I didn't intend to make any money of it, but it's the way it's gone, and it's great. So the more money I make, the more I'm going to do, and be able to invest it back in in cameras and things like that. So it's great. Let's just say thanks, lads, for following me and keeping up with it. It's great. Okay, okay, Andrew. Okay, James Gibson, is fishing a bait directly on the hook when trotting better than a hair rig style presentation? Yeah, right, this is a good question, because the reason we use hair rigs is basically, right, if you know the way a nature of a fish, when it sucks, it can suck your bait in so quick and expel it so quick that half the time you're going to miss the bite. So by hair rigging it, by the time they exhale it in and they feel anything foreign, they'll spit it out. But as they spit it out, because there's hair rig on it, it'll actually hook the fish, and that's how they hook themselves. And that's why hair rigs become very popular. Also, it means the bait is away from the hook, so it's more natural in a sense. So if it's wriggling, like worms and so on. Obviously, if you're using boilies and pellets and that sort of thing, obviously it's not. But you still got that better presentation because they can exhale, suck in the bait far easier than if it's actually on hook. Now, when it comes to trotting, that's a different thing. I don't think you need a hair rig when you're trotting because a fish will see it physically, and when they pull it, you're automatically going to strike it anyway, okay? And it don't need to hook itself because you know very rarely does a fish hook itself when you're float fishing. You have to strike it. So yeah, so the answer to that, James, is yeah. It's you don't just hook it normal, and make sure you strike when you get that bite on the float. Okay, Raymond. All right, Ray. Hope you sorted your keep nets out from a couple of weeks ago at Reading. Yeah, well, do you know, funny enough, I was talking to the lads yesterday about it because there's a couple of lads there. Now, I did check it. Now, I did also ask, is there any crayfish there? And apparently there are. There are crayfish there. Somebody else said pike can also attack a net. And as it happens, that net I used was an old one. And the only reason I used it is because it was short. Because I was going to go for bleak, right? That was my intention. And I don't want a long net that sways out in the river. We do it at Belmont quite a lot. If you're fishing bleak, you want to pin your net up against the bank. You don't want it swishing around in the water because, you imagine you got bleak close in and all of a sudden your net starts swishing and with a current. You don't, and it's going to disturb the shoal. You don't want that. So that's the reason I use that net. It's a short net. And it's an old one. And unfortunately, I had 2 holes in the end. I don't know where they come from. They certainly weren't there when I checked my net, unless I need a new pair of bloody glasses. But I didn't see them. And of course, when I pulled them out and the bloody bleak were falling out, well, and to be honest, I weighed in 710 and I felt I had more than that. Sometimes, when you fish sometimes and you think, you got an idea what you got. And then when you pull your net out, it happened to me on the Y as well. If you ever saw that vlog, God, that was a nightmare, that was. I thought I'd had over 50 pounds in the net. And of course, when I lifted out, bloody big hole like that, chub that size were falling out. Oh, and then still waiting 30 something odd pound. So, yeah, I do check my nets. I really do. And I just have to invest in new ones all the time, I think, But I did, I got one off Cadence, and it's a new one. I should have used that and pinned the net back, I think. But that's a little tip. Pin your net back if you don't want it to sway out in the water. Okay. Thanks for reminding me, you bugger. All right, then let's have a look. Okay, Andrew, it's great for all the anglers of any standard to pick up tips when on your blogs. Yeah, well, again, vlog is if it's on a video, it's called a vlog. I don't know who made that name up. It's something that I followed because blog is when you write and vlog is when you film it. So I suppose that's the reason. But yeah, I was only talking about this same was it last week or before? Yeah, we were talking about methods, techniques, and many years ago, the stars of the angling world, were stars for a long time because they kept a lot of their secrets and little tips and things to themselves. And of course, in them days, they weren't. You didn't have Facebook or Twitter or social media or YouTube or any of that around. So information wasn't spread so quickly. Now, these days, somebody can come up with a brilliant idea or plan or method. As soon as it's broadcast on the YouTube, bang, thousands. And then all of a sudden, you've learned something that would have taken anglers years ago, years and years to learn. And now you can pick up these just one little thing sometimes. Look, I'm great. I'm glad that people can learn off me because, as I said before, I've got 50 years experience now and still match fishing. And, I've probably forgotten more than I can remember, but little tips all help. And if I can spread the word, then great. I mean, more follows I get, and, at the end of the day, I'm still competitive. I still take my chances and, okay. I even learned myself off people, you know. I learned something off an angler the other day I was watching, you know. So yeah, you know, we all learn, and it's great. Social media, YouTube, and things like that. And if I can, you know, pass it, and that's why I do question and answers. If people want to know anything at all, just ask me, and you know, I'll try and answer them the best. You know, if I don't know it, I'll tell you. You know, that's one thing about me. You'll find that I will be honest, and I won't give you bullshit. Sorry about the French, any young ladies watching. Okay, thanks for that. Anyway, right. Raymond, thanks, Clive. Right, okay. John Hestine. I was a member of Evesham for 20 years till 2001. The town was very hard water to fish. Ounces would win a section, but having watched all of your vlogs, I want to get back there. Yeah. Well, you know, exactly what I was just saying, you know, vlogs and watching things and live on YouTube and things like that. Yeah, you know, blimey. You know, and I've actually, it's quite, I'm pleasantly surprised. I really am. The amount of anglers come up and say they watch my vlogs, you know, and there's some top anglers that watch and they won't admit it, like they do, they spite out there. I know they are, but it doesn't matter, you know. Anyone, you know, I'll help anyone, and they can watch my vlogs, and if I can teach them anything, and you know, even if they learn off my mistakes, sometimes, you know, that's great. But yeah, you know, what you're saying then is that Evesham, yeah, you know, I had one guy year before last come back fishing after many years after watching my vlogs, and at Evesham, and in fact, I think no, I'm not sure he won it, but he was in the prizes. Fair dues to him. Yeah, and as I said, I get a lot of other anglers say they watch it, and it's inspired them to come back, and you know, there's a lot of other people watch the vlogs, people who can't get out, you know, perhaps they, you know, can't get out because of physical disability, or some anglers living abroad, you know. As I said on my last vlog, the guy sent me a reel from Australia, Richard Coleman. Fantastic. I tell you what, some anglers are great. I mean, I haven't used it yet because I haven't had a chance, but I will use it. 501, you know, with the spare spools. I did show how to put the installation tape on the inside to build it up before you put the line on. Oh, by the way, I did have a question about do I take the back wind out? Yes, I do. Basically, there's a back wind. There's a wind. I haven't into this one yet because it's a stop, a back wind. You know, because the idea is, of course, with the 501s, it didn't have a. You know, you can back wind it, but with this, it's you play fish on a drag. You know, so you turn the button. So it, you know, but yeah, what I will do with this, I'll take it apart. It's like a little cog that's on the wheel, and what I do is take that out. So then I'll be able to reel it backwards. And the reason is, it goes back years ago because when carp first started coming on the scene, we used to fish a lot of the waters, and all of a sudden you hook a carp, and then there's no backwind on it, you know. So we used to put the backwind so that the fish would pull it, and the reel would backwind, and you would lose it. Otherwise, it would ping, it'd come off, you know. So yeah. As I said, I get lost here, but thankfully, you know, from Mr. Coleman, he sent me this. Brilliant, thank you, and I will use it. Let you know I get on with it as well. Yeah, so some great people around, you know. Okay, Stephen, yeah, you're more than welcome, you know, to join us, and yeah, you know, any questions, just fire away. Yeah, so. A lot of venues, coming back to you, John, you know, I know you said Evesham, you know, there are, it appears to be more fish caught, but I think, you know what it really is? I think that it's, I think technique and tactics and tackle have come on tremendously. I've got a book, right? In fact, I'll see if I can get it. 2 secs. Yeah, actually, it's not a book. It's actually a manual I picked up off a friend of mine. It's called Anglers News, and it's all paper clippings. Long before, I think it was a predecessor of Angling Times, I think, and there were papers. Yeah, look at that. I mean, the papers is all falling apart now, but it's a great book. It's got records of Dick Walker when he broke the calf record. It's got old match results. Oh, look at that. Even old photos you wouldn't believe. Look at that. That's old it is, yeah. The Isaac Walter days. But some of the it's great reading this because oh, look at that. Do you remember that? Waterproofs your legs for was it 28 and sixpence? 28 and sixpence. But I'm reading this, and I noticed the Silver Days. I don't know if they're still going from over the West Country, and they were having matches on the Bristol Avon, right? And £1 would win a match, £2 would win a big, huge open. And not only the Bristol Avon, but there's other records in here where people have, winning matches with just £3-4. Now, this is going back in the 1950s. Now, were there more fish around? I bet there were. I bet there were more fish around, but what's happened? Anglers have come better. Yeah. Tackles come better. The knowledge has come better. So all in all, when you see vlogs now and you're thinking, oh, only ounces used to win the matches, these days, I think anglers generally are far better, tackle-wise, bait-wise. I remember, the quality of bait you get now is fantastic. We never used to have casters in them days, did we? We can now. So, yeah, it'd be great if we could go back within 50 years with our tackle and with our knowledge and go back and fish those matches now. We clean up on them, I'm sure we would. So, yeah, things have come on, and if it's inspired you to come back, great. I'd love to see you back fishing. Okay. Stephen, hi. Oh, yeah, okay. I backwind as when playing fish, as years back, you cannot trust the clutches. That's true. That is true, yeah. I like to be in control, and that's why I use 501s and 506s and that, because, I was saying just on my last vlog about fixed spool reels, open, close, fixed spool reels, basically where you got the bail arm, and, unless you're a magician. I mean, we used to have the automatic ones, and people remember the Mitchell automatics and that, and they were an innovation because you could just click it. It would release the line to your finger and you could cast. But the problem is when you reel, you still have to close the bail arm. And the problem is when you close the bail arm, it's not instant, not like a 501 or 506. Because, with a as I said, mentioned, with a 501, 506 close fish or any close fish reel, when you hook a fish, your index finger is feeling the pressure. And you simply just click it with the reel, with your handle, and of course it picks it up instantly, unlike a open face reel which has got that delayed action. The only way around is, of course, keep a tight line on it, pull the log back, click it over, and keep a tight line that way, which I showed Ian last week on one of the coaching days. So yeah, as you say. So I like to be in control with the reel, and like you said, backwinding, you're in control then all the time, rather than let it run, freely, like, Okay, Tim Dean, hi mate. How would you start putting together complete tackle for no drivers, i.e. Trent, i.e. Don, and Combe, as I haven't been out of the game some time? Okay, right, okay, Tim. Right, well, let's have a look. Well, obviously you need to get some tackle, and well, you can. It depends how much you want to spend in it. Well, it depends what your budget is. Many years ago I made a fishing for beginners, and I never forget the complete tackle set. It was less than £100. That included a box and everything. But of course, these days and age, you wouldn't get anywhere near that. Depends. If you shop around, if you look on eBay, Facebook page. I got a Facebook page to buy and sell. You can pick up, good gear at reasonable prices. but make sure you pick up good gear and not just anything, because I was in the tackle industry, and I used to cringe when I said go to tackle shops and they would sell anything just to put money in the till. I would rather say, look, save up and buy that whatever you want to buy. Try and buy the best money can buy, and the best advice. And the only best advice is either go to a local tackle shop. I've contradicted myself here, but some of you can trust, and ask them, which is the best reel, which is the best rod, and so it depends what your budget is. That's all I can say. If you want advice on anything, you can either come to my Max Fishing group. There's over 29,000 subscribers on there. So anytime anyone has a question, they're bombarded with all sorts of answers from everyone. So and even myself, if I think because it's a big community to run that website, that Facebook page, or Max Fishing group, and the problem is I can't keep an eye on it all the time. I try to. There's a lot of abuse that goes on, and people do a lot of swearing. But Facebook now got algorithms, and if any swear words go up, they automatically, delete them. So it saves me doing it. And bullying, that's not very nice either. But the thing is, don't be afraid to ask any question there. Don't matter how silly it might seem to yourself. Some anglers will be nice, and some if they start pulling it a bit, then if I see it, I'll knock them off. But so ask on there. Anyone got any cheap gear? You've been out of fishing, you want to get back? That's the way to do it, I think. But try and whatever you can afford, and try and get the best value for whatever you want. If if it's rods, reels, if you want to buy new Cadence, I would recommend Cadence, because they cut out the middleman. They don't use tackle shops. You go directly to them, so you can get good quality rods at good prices, and reels, and most things. Otherwise, Facebook, Marketplace is another one, as well as eBay. Okay, hope answer that. If you're not sure, always message me. I can give you some more advice on that bit. Okie dokie. So where are we? Oh, right. Okay. Mike, I used to fish the Y back in 60s and 70s, and days were prolific. Yeah, they were 8 to 12 ounces exactly. Yeah, I'm glad you backed me up on that. Yeah, they were common. Often 100-pound bags. Yeah, pleasure fishing using maggots. The river team was almost as good. Okay, I didn't know that, but yeah, when we used to fish, I remember fishing the Welsh National once, and I thought I'd won it. I had 44-pounder chub, and they all said, "Oh, you won it." And anyway, a guy named Ted Parry won it with 56-pounder dace. Dace beat a chub bag, But and I was in the Welsh National. That was on the lower Y. That was as well, around about Redbrook way, Yeah, great. Raymond, Night Clive will catch up with you with the vlogs. Okay, all right, Ray. Yeah, if you gotta go, you gotta go. But yeah, I enjoy doing the vlogs, and as I said, you do me a favor by watching the whole advert, and then I get paid, only fractions of a penny, but it all adds up, doesn't it? And at the end of the month, then they helps me finance it. Clive, have you any tricks to stop line spin? Now, it depends where the line spin is. If it's on your hook length, there was one trick we used to use, but the trouble is it does weaken the line a little bit. We used to put a little knot, just a little 1/over knot, and that stops it. When you're retrieving the bait. Sometimes if you're using double maggot, if you hook head and tail it, opposite way around, that stops the spin. The best way to stop spin on float fishing, right, is when you retrieve the float, keep it on the surface, like that. That's why if you see my vlogs, you see me, I'm always going like that, because I'm bringing the waggler and the bait on the top of the surface. So if you reel it under the water, it'll spin. So, that's a little trick, a little tip there. Keep it on top of the water. Same if you're stick float fishing or any type of fishing, really. Keep it on top of the water as you retrieve, and you get less spin. You could put swivels. I've known people put swivels on their line. If you can't do that, if you're fishing, boat down, maybe a little swivel. That will eliminate twist as well. So yeah, good question. That right. John S. Stein, all right. I have a pair of old Abu 507s, good closed-face reels. Never use them because no backwind. You have saved them from the bin. Well, yeah, okay. Well, look, do you know, I could actually, no, I won't do it now, but maybe I could make a vlog on that, how to do it. Yeah, all you do is, if you get a penny, any penny will do, and steady, just open it with a penny. You don't need a screwdriver. But inside, you might need some tweezers. You see the cog, and you see like a little ratchet that runs on the cog. And if you reel it, you see what I mean? You see it going one way, and you try to backwind it, it'll stop it from backwinding. All you do is get a pair of tweezers and just pull it out, and then put it back. And there you are. And you got a real little backwind. So okay, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you're not throwing them out. Otherwise, I would have had them off you. Good. Okay. Stuart, Clive, can you remember your first pole? Was it glass, fiber? Did it have a crooks? That's a good one. Well, right. I was fortunate to be at the beginning of the pole revolution because basically I was in the World Championships, back in the 1981 was the first time. And when we all used to go there, the World Championships, especially our team, then the pole, all the continental anglers were using poles. Now, we thought we could compete using rod and line. Well, we did on the first, as you know, at Luddington, we came third. And we thought we could compete. And for a few years after that, namely in Ireland and, Italy, we thought we could get, but we found out we couldn't. We had to learn pole fishing. So then we started looking at poles. And what happened was that there were glass ones out, but I think my first one was a lurk or something. It's quite a heavy fiberglass sort of pole. But as soon as, obviously modern day, Carmen come out, then we all switched to them. And crooks, funny enough, on the end, that was the end thing, because we didn't have internal hollow tips then in them days. It was either external rubber or you have a crook and you tie elastic on the crook. So you'd have a little bit of elastic, which would be like a shock absorber. And and that's how they first done it. And, the French actually showed us that. And it doesn't tangle then because the crook is always proud, is standing up away from the pole. I'll tell you what we did do. We used to have elastic. We used to run a bit of elastic up the top section. We used to put little eyes like you do on like a quiver tip eyes, and you'd have the line running through there, and we'd have a bit of elastic then tied to the bottom one, and so not only would have your bend of your top of the pole, but you'd have the elastic as well, and that was a bit cumbersome, but of course this day and age, you don't need things like that. You don't need crooks and that. You don't need external elastic. Everything's internal. Now a little tip I can tell you. I don't know. I've noticed a lot of tackle shops when they put internal elastic, they usually put them through the top two tips, don't they? So when you hook a fish, you get bloody miles of elastic shooting out. Now, okay, which is great, I suppose, if you're carp fishing and things like that, but generally you don't. It's just a shock absorber. You're fishing with roach and skimmers and things like that. Even chub, you don't need masses of elastic through two tips. I always put elastic just through the top tip, okay, which because it's 18 inches, and that elastic is fine. That's all you need. And it depends on what strength it is. 1s, 2s, 3s, or 4s. Then that is plenty. You don't need any. You don't need miles of elastic coming out, do you? Really, it's a shock absorber. Of course, it's different if you're fishing for big fish. If you're fishing for, where you need the fish to run, like carp and maybe even barbel or something like that. If you're fishing, if you're mad enough to fish on pole for barbel, then yeah. But make me funny. I was talking to my friend Clive Branson the other day about we were watching the Italians once landing barbel on quiver tips. No elastic at all. They took these barbel and they bring them around like this and up, and they'd land them. Easy. You hook them with elastic, they bloody shoot off, and you don't see them for 10 minutes. But with a quiver tip, they hook them and they'd have them like that, and they'd have them out. Amazing. I don't even take a chance, using a quiver tip for barbel, but yeah, trust me, you don't need the huge amounts of elastic in it. And yeah, I remember the crooks. Yeah, in fact, I remember Ian Eaps brought one out, didn't he? A crook with internal elastic. Yeah, I think the first one to do it was Ray Mumford when he was the first, because he was years ahead of the game with everyone, and used to bring stuff from the continent over here. But hey, funny you should talk about that, because I was talking to a chap on the Evesham on one of the vlogs it was the other week, and he can remember me years ago when I was sponsored by a company called Silstar, and they gave me a pole, and I made a video fishing 11 meters to hand. Well, of course, it's not heard of, is it? In them days, because the poles are so heavy, and they were quite heavy, but they were strong. A lot stronger than the poles today. And I was fishing to hand, and I didn't ever had no problems with it. Never broke. And I suppose he said I must have been Mr. Hercules in them days. I said it wasn't, just it's just all balancing it. Yeah, and I got to tell you as well, fishing a pole to hand on Belmont on the Wagons, the first one to do that. And I won a match. I had a big audience behind me watching me, and won a match with Dace using a float. And one of the guys said it looked like a pike bung. It wasn't a pike bung at all. It was a big float, but it was like overshot and held back against the flow. And anyway, I won the match, and I had all standing behind me, a big crowd of people. Anyway, long after, everyone started using poles to hand and whips, and even to this day, if you go on Belmont, they're setting up all these acolyte bloody things, and they're all using poles and whips to hand. But yeah, I was the first to do that. Yeah, proud to say that. Anyway, nice question that. Right, okay. Clive, have you? Let's have a look. Andrew, yeah. Right. River aiming and Swinford in 97 was prolific as well for big days in Roach. Oh, was it? I didn't know that. Okay. Swinford, yeah, I know. Yeah, I remember. Well, when I was a youngster, we used to fish the Bristol, and I used to go there, get battered all the time by the local anglers. And I always remember the Bristol, the buggers used to say, "What's it like in a swim?" "Oh, I don't know, mate." They never, and damn well they'd been fishing the week before. And anyway, I used to fish it, as you say, the Avon, Bristol Avon, them days, and yeah, it was good old fishing over there then. And for years I got battered, and then all of a sudden one day I went over and I started winning. So, so it goes in it, But yeah, that was nice to hear. Andrew, River, let's have a look. All right, Stuart. I remember the gravel badges on the Trent changing the flow of the river when passing with a full load. Traditionally large vessels in Europe. Yeah, oh, blimey, vessels. Yeah, massive things. Yeah, the worst one probably was the in Finland. I never forget that. Huge bloody things. So high they're like bloody skyscrapers going through your swim. And the water's and if you didn't have your keep net bloody tied down, it would go. A few anglers lost their keep nets in that. Yeah, I've seen that on the Gloucester Canal as well, years ago when they allowed the big boats coming up. I've seen a couple of anglers lose their keep nets, when it's gone through. But yeah, another place I suppose was on the Rhine. The year I was runner-up and I had a silver medal. I on the first day on the Rhine, that was some big, because they had these huge boats going down there. Yeah, I know it's a bit. Just make sure you keep this and pinned down. That's all. But no, I never fished the Trent. So the only time I ever fished the Trent years ago, when I was with Kevin Ashurst, I went up with him a couple of times. I never forget, we were trying out these bolognese rods in them days. I don't know if when they first come out, 20-foot rods. And I know on this stretch we were fishing, apparently it was a problem that a lot of people were getting with this wind. And if you try and fish a stick float, it'd blow out the position, with the wind. So Kevin, brilliant angler, thinking angler all the time. He thought, well, we've learned, we got these bolognese rods now. We had off Shimano, and I was for the World Championships. Let's try them for stick float fishing. So it meant we could fish 20 foot out in the water. Obviously keep a tight line on it, not have a big bow as it traveled down the swim, and it was great. We caught loads of fish. We were catching a lot more than other anglers there. Of course, I never went back. Never capitalized on that. I never went back and tried it again. It would have been great to see if it eliminated that lot of wind you get up there with it. Of course, I don't know if it suits that sort of fishing now. But Kevin Asher, I was talking to Dennis Dixon. Dennis, I met in Thailand, and I was doing an interview with him. I don't know if you've seen that vlog, and he was telling me about Kevin. He said he was a great thinking angler. He said he remember one match. He was fishing. He was so quick, with his fish. When you sometimes you swing a roach or something, it's a bit slippery and that, and you can't grab it. Well, Kevin used to have on the side a little pocket of sawdust. He used to put his hand in sawdust and use the sawdust to dry his hands to grab the fish quickly. Not many would have thought of that, would they? Or do it? I've never known anyone to do it. So, but it's little tips like that, and that's professionals at its highest, isn't it? Be fair. Yeah. Okay. All right, lads, look, I've been on you for a while now. I've been on you for hour and 10 minutes. So I think, that might be it. So if there's no more questions, then, as I said, thanks for tuning in for the guys who have. And the guys who are watching this later, well, hope you've gleaned a few things, little things. And as I say, I'm going to keep it on a Monday now, only because Des Taylor does one on a Friday on Facebook, and I didn't want to clash with him, even though he's not a match angler, he's a general. But I tell you what, it's worth watching, because what I noticed with him, which got to bring me back to what I mentioned last vlog. I might have a little bit of a competition, and when I say competition, guys who tune in, I'm going to offer them, and I'll tell you a day out fishing with me, and all the guys together. We could have a little match if you want, or whatever, or just all meet up. Say on the River Wye or something, and we could all do a bit of fishing, a bit of chatting, and maybe around about Christmas time, and and all that sort of thing. But keep in tune, and I'll let you know about that. As I do coaching, and I charge, but this one I won't, because if there's a few of you together, then great. We can make a nice day of it. Either midweek or weekend, and be great. Because Des done it, and I noticed he had a dozen or so turn up with him fishing one day, and they all talking and chatting away, and I thought that's a good idea. So you can learn, even if non-match angler, you can still learn. Okay then. All right. Any more questions before I go? Okay, Stuart, nice to see you. Andrew, cheers, mate. Clive 54. Hope you draw a fly Wednesday. Yeah, well, we'll see. When I draw a flyer these days, I seem to mess it up. No, I don't know. I didn't mess it up. I know it was last Wednesday. It was one of them things that just the sun was out and the fish just didn't respond to it. I had a nice day though, didn't I? Inside on those. If I'd done that all match, I think I could have got in the frame there. Yeah, but there we are. That's I'm learning all the time. Okay, all right, Andrew. Cheers. Yeah. Okay. Right. What's that from Neil? Do you always use insert wagglers on rivers, Clive? I was learned mainly use straight wagglers. Right, I'll answer that. Yeah. Right, I use the only time I use a straight waggler, right, on a river is when I'm dragging. Okay, if you drag in the water, in other words, and undershot it, so it's proud, and you want to drag it along, called a dragging waggler. Then I'll use that. I used that in great effect once. I won a match on the River Severn in a place called it's called what was it? Trying to think. It's called the big hole or something, the long hole swim. Anyway, I fished dragging wagler then. I won them actually 22 pound, and then worked a treat that it slows the bait up. Otherwise, no, I'd always use inserts because obviously if I'm not dragging, then I've used an insert because insert is far more sensitive. And I don't know if you saw one of my vlogs the other day, and the float was going down the thing, and I said that the fish is not taking that, it's not taking the float, it's not going under, the fish is following it. And now I knew that, it sped up a little bit, and I struck, and the fish was on. So sometimes, the fish you won't even register on the float. So that's why I use inserts, because you got a better chance at least of seeing it, and especially on the drop, if you're on a drop, you can watch that insert, the long insert go, down, 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 and if it doesn't go down, then obviously something's taken on the drop. So yeah, that's the only time I'll use straight wagglers. And well, if it's something you do, then but try it for me, and you might be pleasantly surprised and catch more fish by using inserts. Okay, all right, mate, lovely. Oh, you're up for that, Andrew, right? It picked. Right, you may keep in tune. No, I think it'd be a bit of fun. It'd be nice to meet some guys, people who follow me. Then, yeah, Right, good luck Wednesday. Thanks to Neil. Okay, lads, well, look, thanks for watching again. As I said, any questions after my vlogs for next week? Yeah, I'll answer them. I'll go over the methods because that's what I intend to do, is to go over some of the methods, and there's things that that I may have missed, so I can just pick up on it, and hopefully all being well, I'll see you on the riverbank shortly. So all the best, boys.